Aonuma showed us around 10 minutes of Tears of the Kingdom gameplay and it was fantastic. He showed off all the cool hand abilities, Recall, Fuse, Ultra Hand, and Ascend, and it was the greatest thing ever. Now these abilities are like super cool and all, but today I want to go over some small details, 11 to be exact, that I feel went under people's radars, as well as details that could raise more questions than answer them. Now by this point it's already been 2 days and I feel like everyone has already covered all the big stuff, but there are some points that I feel haven't been said on certain topics, and being a small channel I found it fitting to go over these small yet important details and what they can mean for Tears of the Kingdom. So if you enjoyed the video, link is here to tell you to drop a like, and if you want more Zelda content, then there's a subscribe button as well so you won't miss out on any of my videos. Now starting at the beginning, we see that these new construct enemies are also seen on the surface of Hyrule. Before the gameplay presentation, I was under the impression that all enemies we would find in the sky would stay there because, well, that was the area in which they inhabited. But well, I was wrong, completely wrong. We now see that these enemies will also pose a threat to Link down on the surface, but just how did they get there and what exactly is their purpose? We know that they are soldier constructs, but to me it would make sense that they stay in the sky to protect the land of their creators, being the Zonai, since we now know that they are in fact in the game. I'm so glad I didn't delve into the story. I'm excited to find out on my own just what is the deal with these enemies. As we continue with the playthrough, we see this construction site in front of the stable. Now this gets me going because this means that Hyrule is going to be slowly rebuilt as you progress through the game. Now the developers may have just set that there to give you more materials to craft various vehicles with the Ultra Hand ability, but towards the end of the presentation we also see another construction site. No, not this one, but the one further back. The one that seems to be working on rebuilding a building that was in ruins. This tarp covering the materials has some sort of logo on it, maybe that of a certain construction company. So that lets us know that someone is currently working on it. This gives me hope that maybe, just maybe, they need a certain kingdom-saving individual to give them that extra push to complete it. Now we see the horse stables and all is well with it, with the exception of these smoke clouds coming out. Now the only time I've seen this type of smoke is in movies when native tribes are sending smoke signals, and every time I pass by Burger King and they're revving up their flame grills. I think what's happening in this instance is more related to the latter. I think this smoke means that there's now a cafe or restaurant of some sort located within the stable, and you're able to buy certain dishes here to assist you in your journey, or maybe even pick up new recipes. What do you guys think about this? And while we're on the subject of smoke, what is this pink smoke over here? If we go frame by frame, it starts off small and gets bigger, but what is producing this and why is it pink? I have no clue. Maybe it's some sort of potion shop, or maybe an enemy with a gaseous surrounding. Gaseous? You understand what I mean. Pink was not a color used much in Breath of the Wild, so it really caught my eye, but this has me stumped. I don't think I've seen anyone bring this up, and I don't see people talking about this too much, but you guys are pretty smart. I'm pretty sure there's at least one of you who can tell me just what exactly is this pink smoke. Throughout all this, we see that there has been an addition to the minimap, adding coordinates that correspond to latitude, longitude, and altitude. Yes, a lot of people have already mentioned this, but let me just say that this small detail gets me excited because it has so much potential for quests. Like, what if an NPC gives you certain numbers and tells you it's just worthless information that he heard or found? You look more into it and realize that it could be coordinates. You decipher the coded message and it points to a secret location or a hidden treasure, or better yet, maybe a dungeon. Yeah, I need to see this in the game. Moving on, as we're ascending towards the Sky Islands, we get a small glimpse of this behemoth Sky Island in the back. Now, the Sky Island that was later seen seems like a large island to explore and find tons of new stuff. But when you look at this Sky Island that is higher up, well, it's freaking ginormous. Now, what makes me say that, you ask? Well, let's put it into perspective with our handy dandy map. As we are ascending with Recall, we know we are somewhere here because of the dueling peaks. Now, far into the distance, we see the Sky Island with a large building, which is shown later in the presentation. Now, that would put it somewhere around here. And we know it's here because when you get launched off, you also fall down exactly here. So when you compare this to this, I mean, it may be farther away, but even so, it looks huge. There are so many new areas to explore, they're looking bigger and better. And now to the most underrated and puzzling detail in my opinion, which I'm kind of surprised people aren't talking about this. So as we're gazing at Hyrule's landscapes, we see Naedria flying around, and this tower right here where the Spring of Wisdom is supposed to be, which is on top of Mount Lanayru. Now this is a pretty cool detail as it's resting on the Spring of Wisdom, and that detail alone could hold some importance. But what makes this puzzling and plain out confusing to me is that as Link is falling off the Sky Island towards the end, the tower's not there anymore. We see other towers piercing Hyrule's skies, but not that one. Now this could be that the gameplay was taken from different times of the game, then that would mean that these towers sprout out individually, unlike the Sheikah towers, but what if it means more? Like, what if they retract back into the earth and into the cave systems that could potentially be found underneath Hyrule? I don't know. What do you guys think about this? We then have this symbol that seems to be engraved into the floor. It has the same type of patterns found on the platform in which you landed when you first got onto the Sky Islands. I want to believe that this could be somehow related, and maybe if you find a piece that perfectly fits in its place, it gives you a small reward of some type. I wasn't sure how important or relevant this little detail would be, but I thought it was worth pointing out. As Aonuma is crafting his state-of-the-art raft, as soon as he activates Ultra Hand, everything that can be moved and crafted glows, including these structures over here. We also see that they have a green glow to them, which could possibly be the green gooey stuff that is used to hold together your crafted creations. All this tells me is that you can somewhat incorporate these structures into your creations. They look very similar to this platform in which Link lands, which makes sense because of the dragon statues. They could possibly be the base for the flying vehicles we saw in the latest trailer, or maybe you can create some sort of trap for enemies. At this point, with Ultra Hand, the possibilities are literally endless. What I love about Ultra Hand is that you can freely rotate your materials on the X and Y axis. Aonuma didn't show it, but with this feature we could potentially create several layers or stories to the vehicles or creations that we make. Will this be useful? Probably not, but it's great having the freedom to move objects in whatever manner of your choosing to create whatever you want. During this section we also see this battery icon. I'm not talking about this green one, but the one on the minimap. In Breath of the Wild, this tan brown icon meant that it was an important location like a town, village, stable, or place where people gathered. So this battery icon could indicate that this is a place that has to do with something of that nature. As we make our way across the water, we get our first glimpse at a Ranger construct, which is another Zonai robot that is doing the best he can. I know a lot of people have pointed out on how this construct is a friendly NPC since he doesn't have a patrol light like the other ones, and you see his name on top. But what I want to point out with this is that since they are friendly NPCs, I believe that they are the beings that are manning the battery shops. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it now. We then see another Ranger construct minding his own business, but this one seems to be dusting or vacuuming. To me, it seems like it's looking for something, maybe materials to potentially sell at the battery store. I also want to point out that both the Ranger and Soldier constructs seem to have some sort of wind properties. This one with his leaf blower, and this one using a strong gust to knock Link off the Sky Island. Maybe a bigger construct will be able to create hurricane level winds. Hint hint. In a previous video I mentioned how it'd be awesome to see more of the wind element being incorporated into the game, and I'm glad to see it happen. Now there's a lot more I could get into, especially with the new hand abilities, but I wanted to first share these details that really caught my eye. Did I mention anything you hadn't noticed or seen before? If so, you need to drop a comment right now, let me know which one, or else no one is going to help this poor Korok. You wouldn't want that on your conscience now, would you? This game is gonna be amazing, and I can't wait for May 12th to finally play it. Till next time everyone, I'm Ace Monkey, have a great day, and thanks for watching.